20 seconds late here. Sorry about that. It's quiet out there. I thought we would have construction going on this morning. It's Monday morning. It's not a holiday. No accounting for it. It's all quiet on the Eastern Front. Well, you say it's early yet, but usually 8 o'clock is the start time for these jobs, you know. Nobody's allowed to make noise. Technically, you're not allowed to make noise earlier than 8 o'clock or after 8 o'clock. If you're doing any kind of construction or noise going out into the community, you know, you're supposed to keep it between 8 and 8. So a job like this would normally start at 8 o'clock, but nobody's there. Okay, you know what's going on. The work is going to be the same work. No change here now for quite a while. The show and tell. the package that arrived here, what's today, Monday? So the package arrived on Saturday. You saw it, it came. And after the stream, I'm like, I want to open this, I want to open this, I want to open this. And also I'm supposed to open it to check that it's okay. And then he sent a message back to the auction people so that the guy gets paid. But it was the weekend, so it doesn't matter. That system doesn't roll through on the weekend. The banks and stuff don't do on the weekend, so it doesn't make any difference. The request from the auction will come probably this morning. Hey, have you received this? Please verify so that we can pay the guy. That request will come this morning. So the point being, I was able to leave it. I haven't opened it. It's sitting on the shelf over there. So we'll have an unboxing this morning. So. I mean, I know what's inside, of course. I bought it, I know what's inside, and it's fun. It's fun, it's fun, it's fun. It's spectacular. It's spectacular. It's also big, and I can't open it on the desk here. We're gonna have to go over there and muck with it and move the cameras and crash everything. And where am I gonna be carving here? What are we gonna do today? Another leaf. Let's go over here for this leaf. Okay. Looking good. Paper's out, yes, 2 packs. We've got a double upstairs today. Dei-chan is printing next year's January print. Ishikawa-san's doing it, but she's not here today. Ishikawa-san was here yesterday, printing the January print. Dei-chan's also working on the January print, her batch. Sugi-san will be here this morning. She's working on a back number. She's working on Japan Journey number 2, the ski picture. Orders are pouring in still, Japan Journey, and when we open up next week for the woodblock pilgrimage, there's hundreds of people waiting. So the scaffolding, the building, the one in the corner, there used to be the udon shop. Construction has started, and they've wrapped it, which means I guess they're going to be tearing stuff off the front. It'll be dusty, noisy. This is not an asbestos wrap. This is just a casual wrap. You know. When they took down the old tendon shop, it was an asbestos wrap. They sealed the whole thing in plastic, sealed the top, prepare vacuum, you know, air pressure, stuff like that. They pull the air out. They pull the air out so it's lower air pressure in the construction site, so asbestos fibers don't escape. It's really, really expensive, but common sense. But this one is not that kind of wrap. This is just casual. And it is chilly. It's funny. I think I can't see the sky tree, but it's not so cloudy, I thought. Oh, the sunshine out there. I think the sky is simply too bright for the camera. The camera's picked up the darker shadows, and the sky is washed out. There is a sky tree over there. Okay, let's do a bit of work. Try and remember who I am here, what's going on. We're still, I know the title is here, Ne Choju Asobi, but I still don't have a good English title, and I'm now down to the last couple of days. The video is supposed to go out on the 10th. I got most of the script ready last night, and I am now running out of time. I have got to figure out a nice title for the 2021 series. There's been emails about this. Thank you very much for the suggestions. Thank you. I still haven't got something that I'm going to jump on yet. But if there are ideas about this, not just funny ones, I know the Animal Farm was ha ha ha, but if there are, practical suggestions, I'm still wide open to anything here. Had a fun experience over the weekend here. Today's Monday, right? Yeah, today's Monday. On the weekend, Saturday and Sunday, there's so many visitors to Asakusa. The streets are really crowded. There's so many visitors that there's not enough restaurant capacity for lunch. Dinner is okay because the number of people that are here, the casual strollers and stuff, have left by 6 o'clock or so. But during the day, from 10, 11 o'clock in the morning, through till 5, 6 o'clock or whatever, when the dinner bar crowd comes, there's so many strollers and people hanging around and walking that there's not enough restaurant capacity. People will sit at home. What are we going to do today? Let's go to Asakusa, whatever. And so many people do that, and they would assume that they're going to be able to get lunch here. And actually, there's simply not enough capacity. So every restaurant here, and this is only weekends, every restaurant ends up having lineups outside the door, starting from 11:30 or so, and going right through the lunch hour. So to try and obviate that, the local sort of business association here, whatever, has arranged for a bunch of food trucks, and over, not on the street in front of where I am, but over on the street in front of the Don Quixote store. And this has been happening now for some months, 3 or 4 months, I guess, whatever. I guess part of it too is the deal about not eating inside restaurants. They want people to eat outdoors and stuff like that. So anyway. So Saturday and Sunday, there's now a bunch of food trucks, half a dozen or 6, 7, 8 food trucks up on the Broadway there. And this has been great fun for me. I'm not eating in restaurants at all these days. And I get a bit tired of the convenience store, of course, who wouldn't? So having these food trucks here on the weekends is really, really, it's fun for me. And some of them repeat, they come back again, and mostly they don't repeat. It's new ones every Saturday and Sunday. So I'm really, really, really enjoying this. It's a real sort of highlight of my week. I wake up and it's Saturday morning, great, I get a really nice dinner today, lunch and or dinner today. So Saturday I go out there, and there's a new one there. It's a New York chicken. And I don't know what New York chicken means, but I stop at the cart and ask the girl and chat with her. And it's kind of a hot dog kind of bun she's created. And instead of an actual hot dog with whatever's inside it, we don't know, she's chopped up some chicken meat and spiced it up and done this and that. And she says it's really, really popular these days in New York. Whatever, true or not, I have no idea. I don't care. And it was to die for. It was to die for. It was so good that I went, what I did, I bought it at the truck and then came home here and ate it. And it was so good that right there, about 1 o'clock after I finished, I just went back over there and said, I forget what I actually said, but come on, that's just, come on, what was in there? That was just so good. And I bought another one. I bought another one, kept it for dinner. I didn't have two for lunch. I can't do that, but I bought another one, kept it for dinner. Then Sunday, yesterday, Ishikawa-san was upstairs printing, and we'd been chatting about this or that when she came to work, what's going on, what's going on. I mentioned, I really hope there's the food trucks this week and blah, 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 blah. And she said, oh, I'd like one too. I'm like, this is kind of spicy. Are you okay with it? And because it is really kind of spicy. This girl just slathers on the Tabasco for these things. And she says, yeah, she's cool, she's cool, she's cool. So I went out there at 12 o'clock or so, and I bought two. One for me and one for Ishikawa-san. She loves it, and unknown to me, while I'm here carving in the afternoon, waiting for my dinner time where I can go back to the truck and buy another one for dinner, Ishikawa-san went out there and chatted with the girl. She wanted to know for herself what was going on, and she bought another one so she could take it home for her husband. And she happened to mention the woodblock workshop, blah, blah, blah. So this girl... So long story short, this girl, after she closes up yesterday evening, she came over here. She came over. I'd been chatting about it. I told her who we were, what's going on, and everything else. So she came over here, and we started talking about an idea. Now, don't get excited, because this is almost whatever. It will happen or won't happen. I don't know. We made a plan for the new year. She doesn't have a booking yet for her food truck for January 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, whatever. It's going to be dynamite. There's people going to be everywhere. And we have a shop we're not using. We've got a space in front of our shop that's just sitting there. And come New Year's time, the restaurants are all busy, and Dave's shutter is down or he's closed or whatever, nothing going on. Now, she can't park her truck in front here because there's no room and license for doing that. But the idea was that she could haul the stuff out of her truck, throw it in the front of our shop here, and for a few days, Moko Hong Kong can do New York chicken. And this might actually happen. We'll see how it goes, but we'll see how it goes. So there might be some interesting streams coming up in January. So. Is this a thing? It says buffalo chicken. I don't know. It's chopped. The chicken is chopped into little tiny cubes. It's not actually a thing of meat. It's not a hot dog with a thing stuffed. It's all chopped in cubes. She's got a grill, and while you stand there, she's got the meat on the grill, tossing it up. She squirts sauce on, puts the bun on the grill, heats it up, stuffs it all together, wraps it up, squirts the Tabasco, and gives it to you, whatever. So we'll see. There's a little detail about business licensing and stuff, but whatever, I don't know. I think in New Year, nobody's going to be watching those things too carefully, so we'll see. She was really a fun girl. And it wasn't just me. It wasn't just that Dave has, that's nice. Ishikawa-san said, oh my God. So. Actually, she might be here listening today because she stayed here last night for a couple of hours. She got to be too late, actually. And talking about business and how do we get our customers and stuff like that. And I was mentioning to her about the streaming and YouTube and Twitch and stuff like that. She has an Instagram, and there's 3 followers. She's pretty new in business, So she was asking, what do you think? What should I do? How do I get more clients and stuff like this? And, when she's done the number 1, make a fabulous product. That's the core of the whole thing. Make the fabulous product. Then all she's got to do now, to me, that's the next part is just so simple. She's done the difficult part. The next part is so simple. Just communicate this. Just communicate. And she says, well, I got Instagram, and we looked at it, and there's 3 followers. And okay, lady, but having an Instagram and showing a picture of your your New York dog is not enough, My God, it was tasty, Honton was tasty. I got a bit of a quibble with it, and if we get a chance to talk to her later, and if she does come here, I've got whatever. I don't know if she takes criticisms of her food from her customers or not. I don't know, but for me, the quibble was she's got the meat on the hot plate, and she heats it up or fries it up. I don't even know what the technical word is. It's on the griddle, so is it frying on a griddle? I don't know. And I guess there's some sort of sauces and stuff mixed in with it because it's really got quite a nice rich taste. But at the end, she throws the meat into the bun thing, and at that point, she squirts on this and she squirts on the hot sauce. And that doesn't work for me. You've got the thing, you're eating it, and the sauce is on top of it, and the sauce hits your tongue before the meat does, and it just sort of burns you up, and you don't really... The sauce should go onto the meat while it's on the griddle, and just rich in and rich in and rich in. And I know what she would say. She didn't like, because some people don't want the hot sauce, so, whatever. But it doesn't work. When you just put the sauce at the end and slather it on, it doesn't work. The name of it, Dave. I've got her information upstairs. I'm sorry. I don't remember it because the Instagram is a well, actually, I visited it yesterday. So let's see. It should be in my browser history. So hang on a sec. When did I look at this? This was last night, earlier today, Janai, Sunday, Instagram. Hang on one sec, excuse me here for the sidetrack. Oh, looking at all the stuff I watched last night. BBC. Here we are. Okay, it's capital letters, NY. I'll just copy it, hang on a sec. But again, there's nothing here because it's like I said, it's a brand new Instagram page with like two or three, followers. But this is the place. This is the young lady. Oh, 9 followers. Look at this. I'm dead sure it said 3 yesterday. Ishikawa-san. Actually, Bob, that's Ishikawa-san last night. We were talking about this yesterday. So Ishikawa-san must have signed up and sent some people over there. Culinary commentary, so. Now then, okay, whatever. She'll be like, what's going on? This is not going to help her business at all, She gets all these followers from Tennessee, or something. So anyway, whatever. It's all in the game. He was a very nice young lady, and with a nice product, and very happy, cheerful person, and. I guess actually too, I don't know much about her yet. I guess she's a mother, so we had stayed here talking, and at one point, Dave's talking, explaining, and I realized that she's doing these motions like trying to escape, trying to get away. So I apologized and said, I'm sorry. She says, yeah, I've got to go. I know I've got to make dinner for my kids. It's like, oh my God. So, yeah, we'll see. It will be fun. The whole thing about New Year's this year is I have no idea. Nobody really knows what to expect. On a normal New Year time, a place like Asakusa here it's a sea of humanity. That's the only way to describe it, a sea of humanity. They line up at the shrine starting late New Year's Eve, and for the next really 3 days, through January 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, it doesn't stop. The lineup of people trying to pay obeisance at the shrine doesn't stop. It's 24 hours a day, right through from New Year's Eve till about January 3rd when it finally tapers off. There's 2 or 3. There's the Sensoji here. There's Meiji Jingu on the west side. There's Hiei-jinja near the Prime Minister's office. There's 3 or 4 places where they are the places to go for New Year's, and everybody has to do this. So you've got like 35 million people here, and only half a dozen or so places where they go and do this, and the crowds are insane. But what's going to happen this year? Everybody's being encouraged not to hang out in crowds. So it could be that it's deserted, or it could be that people are just going to shrug it off. Who cares? Whatever. And the government has tried to make noises about adjusting the holiday this year. That instead of being a 3-day holiday, they've asked the business, the businesses associations to change it and give their workers more time off. And instead of having a 3-day holiday this year, make it a 10-day holiday. Go through to January the 11th or 10th. And the thing about New Year's is January 1st is the legal holiday. That's the only legal holiday here. It's a national holiday. January 2nd and 3rd are not. They are customary holidays. Businesses close and people do whatever they want to do, but they're not actually legal holidays in terms of being a holiday day. So the government's not about to change everything, cancel and make 11 days legal holiday, but they've asked the business community to think about doing this, to shut down for a more extended period this year so that people can do their New Year stuff not in such giant crowds. And none of us know what is actually going to happen. And the guy next door, the Kaki, the oyster restaurant next door, they normally do an outside table. They put tables outside and serve hot soup and stuff all through the night, all the way through for a couple of days. I chatted with him yesterday, and he says, no, we're not going to do that this year. We don't think there's going to be enough crowds to justify it. So the restaurant will be open, but he's not going to do the special service for the huge crowds, because he doesn't think there will be huge crowds. And myself, I have no idea what to expect. We are not going to be open at all. On a normal year, we don't open the 1st, we don't open the 2nd, but we then start doing print parties from the 3rd and 4th. Now, of course, that's not happening now. So my shop is just going to be in hibernation anyway, no change for me. But whether we do this New York chicken or not, I don't know. And what crowds we get, I don't know. We'll see how it goes. Yeah, I said the top 3. There's more. Zozoji, John is mentioning there. It's not only these 3, but these are the big ones. Sensoji and Meiji Jingu, Meiji Shrine. They are the 2 with the massive, massive crowds. They run it a bit differently. With Sensoji, they line up and they form a line about 1 kilometer away. The line forms at the entrance to Kaminarimo, and you can't cross. It just walks up. Meiji Jingu, it's different. They've got their lineups. And with Sensoji, you wait till you get to the front, you put your money in the box, and then you disperse out the side. With Meiji Jingu, they do this thing where the money box is still there. They put a huge net up behind the money box, behind it and around it. And people don't actually get to the front. When they get within throwing range, they've got their money, they wrap it into an envelope, put something heavy in a coin or whatever, and they huck it. And you huck it over the heads of people so it goes in the net. And if you're, just in front of the net, if you've made it that front and money is hitting you from the back, you just pick it up and help and pass it on. It's kind of a bizarre system. I don't think it could really work in any other country than Japan. But in Sensoji, there's no throwing the money. They wait until they get to the front of the line, and they drop the money in the box and make their prayers and then scoot out the side. And there's an interesting quirk about the New Year's obeisance here at Sensoji. Because there are so many people coming, and I said they control the lineup right from Kamidanimon. If you've been here, you know the deal. There's a long row of shops that's called the Nakamise that goes up to Sensoji. And normally there's cross streets. People are crossing in and crossing out and walking. They seal it off. They put barriers up all the way. So from Kamidanimon, the entrance down at the main road, it's sealed off all the way up to the temple. So nobody can cross. If I want to go across to a restaurant on the other side, I've got to go around the back of Sensoji, or I've got to go down the front to the main road. And so what happens is people are going up, when they're getting ready to get close to Sensoji, there's big signs saying, sort yourself out into left lane and right lane. Because once you've given your money and you've done your praying, if you're on the left-hand side of the platform, you can't get out to go to the Asakusa Ginza line. You can only get out to go to the Tsukuba Express, because you can't cross over again. So if people are thinking, when I go home, I want to go home by the Ginza line, they have to work their way over to the right side of this river so that once they get up, they go out to the right side. So the end of the story is that when people are doing this, they go off left or right. The only people that can get to our shop on January 1st, 2nd, or 3rd are people who were on the left side of this river. After they've put their money in the box, the crowds flow out to the left, and they can't get back to the right. And people on the right-hand side can't get back over to where we are. There's that many people, you know. It sounds like on a freeway. You know, on a freeway, before you get to the exit, like 2 miles in advance, because the freeway has maybe 3-lane freeway. If you're going to go to Hollywood Drive or whatever, get on the left lane. If you're going to go over here, go on the right lane. And they have the same thing here on the run up to Sensoji. Traffic warning: if you're going to go to the Ginza line, move over to the right side. I'm not watching very carefully here, I'm sorry. I'm not watching very carefully. Does Dave own a car? And I've never owned a car in my life. Never. I have never owned a car. Funny, nay. I've never owned, bizarre, I've never owned a car and I've never owned a TV set. Not even a Model T, smart ass. No, bicycle. That's all I've ever had. I've driven a car, yes, I had a license. I've driven a car, driven a Winnebago, I've crashed stuff. When I worked for the music store. It was funny, you know, when I joined the music store, I was 22 or 23, whatever. The guy says, okay, drive over here. I said, I don't actually have a license. And he's like, what? I hired a guy without a license? So go get your license or whatever. So I did, I got my license and I drove a car. I drove the company car. I drove the company Winnebago. We had a Winnebago motorhome. It's like one of the long ones, 40 feet long or whatever it was. I don't know the number. And I drove it all over Western Canada, full of sheet music, full of band music. I crashed it a couple of times. Crashed it really badly once. You know, could have been the end of me. But, so yeah, I've driven. Then when I left the music store, I never renewed my license. That was it. So, you know, so I have no license now. I haven't for 40 years or so. I drove for about 7 or 8 years when I worked there for the music store. That was the end of it. I wasn't a good driver. Because I felt that I was really good at this. I thought I could spin this wheel and move this around and do this. I thought I was a good driver, which makes me a dangerous driver, of course, you know. I was a 20-year-old little kid who thought he was so good at this, which means he was dangerous to society. And it's good that I gave it up. I was too overconfident. I know how to do this. It's the worst possible kind of driver. And yeah, I nearly put an end to myself a couple of times, but whatever. I can't remember the third thing. I've had this conversation with somebody years and years and years ago that I'd never had a car and then never had a TV. And there was a third thing that I'd never had that I can't remember what it was. Couldn't have been very important, but I can't remember what it was. Oh. Yeah, yeah. No eggs. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm sorry, you know. What can I say? Have I ever thought of buying an electrical bike? I know there's an idea there. I know these days, actually, I don't even use a bicycle because I just actually don't go anywhere. But if I were living in Ome now still, it's quite hilly there. I know in Ome, my life is bicycle life. Take the bicycle, go to the supermarket, stuff like that, stuff like that. And I would think about this, but it's plus minus. Having that bicycle in Ome and going out to the supermarket and down the hill and oh my God, up that long hill back from the supermarket, this is sort of keeping you alive. And if I had an electric bike, it's still like a scooter. Boop, you press the button and down you go, you lose your exercise value. So although it would be a really cool idea to have an electrical bike, and I would be the kind of person that would do that, you know, a degenerate hippie from the 1960s, I'd get an electric bike, but I think I would postpone that until I actually wasn't able to actually come back that hill, because the exercise value, I think, is more important. Someone's asking if I've ever seen a print with text that is a cipher. I don't understand. Ah, you mean the old rebus prints in Japan? There's lots, and we've got some in the shop here. I don't know. Do you know what rebus means? When we used to have them when we were kids in comic books and stuff. There would be a joke page in a comic book where there's 6 pictures in a row, and you're supposed to make the sentence out of the pictures. I don't know. Catastrophe, cat is a pig, you know, whatever. It's called a rebus. And there was a deal in Edo era prints. Sometimes there would be a picture of a woman, one of the geisha, whatever, and in the cartouche there's 6 or 7 or 8 pictures, and it's a rebus, and you're supposed to think about what it is. Is that what you're asking or whatever? I don't know. So rebus, very, very common in Japan, or they were very common in Japan. Someone says, no, cryptology. No, I have, whatever. I do Japanese woodblock prints. I don't know anything about that, so. You can see the sunshine is coming out. The sky is blue. The sky is blue. It's going to be a nice, nice, nice day out there today. Excuse me. We've got a mix of stuff here. You know, there's leaves. I don't think they're maple leaves. Some kind of leaves. Maybe the leaves. The flower I think is a peony. So these must be peony leaves. So we'll have some fun with the coloring on this. You know, we're making reproductions here, but we're not going to do it in a capital R reproduction. We're really adapting these prints. You know, I was preparing the video last night about what to say in the video that we're announcing this series, and I chatted about that, and I'm going to chat about that in the video. That back in the day when all these Koryusai prints were designed, this was the 1770s, and this was before gradations. I can't say it's before gradations were invented, because there might be some earlier example somewhere, but it's before gradations came into common use. So none of the Koryusai designs, I think none of them, I think you could search through everything he's got and you'd never find a gradation, I think. None of them have gradations, but for us to not do gradations on these would be a bit, you know. So whatever, we're adapting them. So we're not turning them into Shin Hanga prints, but we are going to make them a bit more attractive, I think, you know. And we found that. We talked about this before on the stream a couple of weeks ago when I was doing test printing, when we were doing test printing on the first one. The original colors were really kind of very, very simplistic. And the ones that we have left now, 250 years later, even though the colors were simplistic, they look beautiful, but that's because they've aged and toned well. When they were just freshly made, they would have a sort of a paint-by-numbers appearance to them. So we found that with our testing, that they just looked a bit too childish. So we're adapting the original color tones. This is something that a Japanese publisher just couldn't do. The idea of making Koryusai reproductions and changing the colors, nobody here would even think that was sort of not legally possible. But of course it is. These are public domain images. Keep track of what's going on here. Someone's asking about past broadcasts. There's two places, as you say. You can see them on Twitch for a couple of weeks, and then not all of them, but most of them, I think, are being archived over on YouTube. In fact, too, when I was reading, I didn't notice she was here yesterday on the last chat. I didn't notice it. When I was reading the chat from the previous stream at lunchtime, I noticed that the handle name B Thingy came up. And it's a lady, one of the fan ladies, and she's the person who is doing the uploading of the videos to YouTube. And I wish I should have said hello to her, but I didn't notice her last time. So. Biota for the name. Rings a bit scientific. These are Woodbot Prints pictures. Biota sounds a little scientific. It's correct though, I guess. So, okay, thanks for throwing it into the mix here. What time is it over there? It's live, 8:39 this morning here in Tokyo. 8:39. Biota. I think it's too scientific for something like this to show. Well, the one that keeps coming back is Animal Farm, but we can't do that. So. Also, at HN here, she said, that's easy, just call it Koryusai's Animal Crossing. It's okay. Could we do that? Could we call it Edo Animal Crossing? I don't think so. That's a trademark term, right? I know parody images are one thing, but it's a trademark term. And anyway, it would give people the wrong idea. They'd come expecting something else, and we wouldn't be delivering what's on the tin. So. What's this? Coffee or tea? Oh, that reminds me. That reminded me. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Who are you? Pizza Rouge. I don't do the favorite questions and stuff, but you reminded me something really important. I need some help from the chat here. I got my newspaper here, the Daily Yomiuri. They call it the Japan News. It's got news and stuff about Japan, which is good and bad. But the bad side is these are all translated articles from Japanese news articles. So there's a news article in the Japanese newspaper, and a couple of days later it appears in translated form in the Yomiuri English newspaper. So the other day there was this story, and it says, glaucoma patients may be able to enjoy coffee again. Those of you who watch this stream know that there's an interest here, because Dave actually has glaucoma. They're calling it advanced glaucoma in my right eye, but whatever, it's not so advanced, but whatever. Anyway, part of it was, long story short, was when I first got diagnosed with this half a year ago or so, I'm trying to learn what's going on about this, and without telling the whole long story all over again, it turns out that they feel that caffeine is one of the things that causes the pressure inside your eyes to increase, which makes the glaucoma worse. So the general feeling is that if you have a glaucoma problem or you feel you're into this, don't drink coffee. Keep away from caffeine and stuff. The doctor didn't tell me this. He said, this is not proved, so I'm not going to tell you must eat this, must eat this, must do this, must do this. He said, whatever, if you think it's a good idea, whatever, don't drink coffee. So since I've got diagnosed with this, I have left coffee alone. Better to be safe than sorry, whatever, common sense. Turns out that they measure the pressure in my eyes, and my pressure inside the eyes actually is really low. So I don't have the kind of glaucoma that seems to be caused by this super high pressure. They're not giving me medicine. They're just leaving me alone. Just go with it, go with it. There's nothing we can do. You have low pressure. But I have, because of this thought that caffeine is not good, I have generally avoided coffee. So I used to really enjoy a nice cappuccino in the mornings. But now for the last half a year, I don't do that. So somebody's asking about coffee. Anyway, it says here, glaucoma patients may be able to enjoy coffee again. But the translation is so freaking awful that I can't really understand what's going on. So I find the original research. It's Kyoto University, and they've tested a whole bunch of people who didn't have glaucoma. This is the killer here. They tested a whole bunch of people who didn't have glaucoma, and they tested the amount of coffee they drank with their eye pressure. And they found no specific problem. They're drinking lots of coffee, and they found that the people that drank more coffee actually had lower intraocular pressure. Now, this is not medical. They can't tell you drinking coffee lowers your pressure, because they didn't check people who had glaucoma. This was only people who didn't have it. But after reading this, I thought, hey, maybe I can enjoy my morning cup of coffee again. But, Dave is the kind of person, he sees the newspaper and every day and there's these stories, right? Eating avocados increases your brain power or whatever. I just laugh at this kind of story. Doing this, eating this is bad, eating this is good. Most of it is bull feathers. We know this. As long as you have a good varied diet, you eat regular kind of stuff, don't eat too much of it, you're going to be okay. There's no magic food. Putting asparagus in your salad will all of a sudden erase your IQ by 10 points or something. I've laughed at those stories all my life. And here's one of these stories now that affects me, and I'm thinking, do I read this or do I say, these are junk stories? What do I do? What do I do? What do I do? David's natural character says, throw this away. It's not science. Well, it is science, but it's not nailed down. But the casual David says, I want to drink a cup of coffee in the morning. So I don't know. I don't know. Glaucoma patients may be able to enjoy coffee again. Anyway, this is bad English. So if you've got information on this, or if you want to Google up a little bit, find a better I don't know, a translation of this or whatever. Just have some tea. It's caffeine is the problem. It's not that it's coffee, it's that it's caffeine. So common Jazz Prophet here. The nutrition and diet, the body's so complicated, you can't make recommendations. Got you. I understand this. This is my normal belief, absolutely. Those stories we see every day in the newspaper, every day. Eat this, happens. Eat this, that happens. I just laugh and throw these away. I'm laughing at myself now because this one strikes a chord with me, and I don't want to throw this away. I want to believe this. So. And I've still got the coffee machine. There we had print parties. There's a coffee machine in the back room here, and it's unused now since the party's closed. And it's there, temptation, it's there. It's 10 meters away from where I stand right now, the coffee machine in the party room. It's been turned off since March. The temptation is there. Come on, Dave, just one cup, It's like being 13 again. They say, if you do this, you're going to go blind, And now it's literally, if I drink coffee, I'm going to go blind. That's the deal. If you do that, little boy, if you do that, you'll go blind, Well, can I just do it till I need class? Growing up in the 1950s, you're going to go blind. I'm missing all of this, whatever. So can't have a New York chicken without coffee. Oh, my mother's in here, is she? Morning, Mom. Is she medical advice here, or I didn't see what you've been saying? Sorry. I can't just sit here reading. Nobody wants to watch my face while I sit here reading, but hi, Mom, wherever you are. I can't see this all. So my mother has this. So she says, be sensible and use your own gut feeling regarding food. Totally okay. And this is the way my whole life, since I became an adult. Eat moderately, eat a good variety, and you're okay. Don't look for the special foods, and don't specifically avoid anything that's not obviously poison. So I get it. And I said that my own doctor, he didn't say avoid coffee. He said, I can't tell you this, best, better, worse, or not one way or the other. So I've avoided the coffee because it seems to be a general thing that caffeine increased pressure. But I don't have increased pressure. So common sense, I think, says it's okay. Common sense, I can have a coffee, right? I can have a coffee. My son Moto is homesick from school. Good morning, Tokyo Mike. Tokyo Mike, I'm supposed to know that, right? Do I know you? Wait a minute, Tokyo Mike. I don't remember, I'm sorry. This is probably bad, I don't remember, but I think I'm supposed to know who you are. But I don't remember the handle name. You're not going to post your name here. It's okay. Sorry about that. But yeah. I've got to do some work here. What is it? It's 8:53. We have a killer show and tell that's going to take actually quite some time. So 9:15 or so, we'll start the show and tell. But I've got to get some work done. So. For those of you who don't know what's going on here, It Is Hopeless. The lady called It Is Hopeless. This is my mother. She's watching here this morning. Sometimes my sister drops in there, and every now and then, rarely, my kids drop in and see. They're not here this morning, I don't think so. What would be fun, I know this is not going to happen because the other people here would not agree to it, but there are actually 4 of us now, well, whatever, 3 of us here carving. Myself, Chon-san, and Kawasaki-san. She lives down in Kobe. So we have 3 carvers here at Mokuhankan. And then there's a new one coming along, Taran-kun, who was here on Saturday. He is now starting to do some work for us. He's not a Mokuhankan carver yet, but he's going to be, obviously doing work for us. So what would be cool to do, and as I said, they won't agree to it, is get Chon-san here. Chon-san can sit at the desk and carve. And he's not going to chat with you guys in English at all. He won't even be interested in anything like that. But he'd sit and carve. And Dave can play sidekick. I can chat with the stream and talk to you guys and explain what's going on. And that would be fun. But there's no way it's going to happen because he wouldn't even remotely want to do that. So. And Kawasaki-san over in Kobe, she's deathly private. She won't even send me photographs of her work. I've said, can we come down and do some video? And she's like, over my dead body. Well, can I have some photos? I want to show, the people out there who's carving our work. And she's, over my dead body. And I'm like, let me just, a photograph of your hands doing the carving. And she's like, I don't really want to go there. So, okay. You can't hassle people. If they don't want their picture on the net, that's fine. But it's frustrating for me because I would really like to introduce and show the people who are doing our work. It's not all Dave doing these things. She's quite typical here in Japan. She has the image of the internet as being a bad place because that's the media, the newspaper and TV here. They talk about hackers and bad stuff and phishing and whatever. So there are people here, maybe anywhere, maybe where you are too, there are people who are at the internet. Oh, what are you doing playing with the internet? Oh my God. It's like you've been caught, reading porn or something. What are you doing playing with that stuff, So she won't cooperate with that. It's okay. I just back away. Nothing to say. The young lady last night, the New York chicken lady, we were chatting about this a bit, and she was saying, what do you think I could do to increase my business? And at that point, you know what Dave is going to say about that. What do you do to increase your business? Show people what you're doing. Get on YouTube or, Instagram videos or something, whatever. And just, no, I'm private, Well, good luck being private and trying to run a business where you need to get clients, Good luck on that one, Have you heard of Japanese woodblock influence of Charleston, South Carolina? I know nothing about this, I'm sorry. There are small museums all over the planet with collections of Japanese prints, because what happens in many locations is somebody who has been over to Japan 150 years ago, 100 years ago, 50 years ago, last week, they buy some Japanese prints, they collect them, they go home, and maybe when they die, their kids think, wow, this is great, so they give it to a local museum. So there's little tiny collections of Japanese prints all over the world. Basically, sort of almost any community has this sort of thing. Sometimes they are real cool, interesting old prints. Sometimes they are tourist stuff that people don't know what it is. So yes, there are small collections of prints all over the place. Do I sharpen the sewing needle? I don't sharpen it in the sense of putting an edge on it. We shape it. I haven't touched it for years, but bit by bit, the edge of it does become a bit funny. So just on the stone, just scrape it up and shape it again. So there's no official sharpening on the sewing machine, but you can see the shape. It's got the same sort of shape as the carving tools, but it doesn't have a cutting edge. It's the wrong kind of steel. It's just a very, very strong steel, lower carbon content than our cutting edges. And it won't break. You can pry and poke and do whatever you want with it, and it won't break. So it's shaped, but not sharpened. Have we enough time? 9 o'clock, we're still okay. this talk. Oh my God. Excuse me. How is Ayumi-san? I don't know. I guess she's okay. Getting bigger by the day, I suppose. I have no idea. I don't know. I don't know. Her desk actually is still set up. When she got pregnant, what was it, 3 months ago or so? I can't remember exactly, 3, 4 months ago. She really wasn't doing well at the beginning. Really, it was the second baby for her, so it seems to hit hard sometimes on the second babies. My other daughter said the same thing. You know. So I assumed that she would be off for a couple of months at the beginning of the pregnancy and would then come back for a few months during the early middle of the pregnancy and would then book off, you know, as it got closer towards the end. But she hasn't come back at all, so nothing I can say. You know, she's going to have a baby, so I can't, come on, Ayumi-san, work, work, work. Can't do that. But no, I haven't heard specifically how she's doing. Actually, her name came up the other day. You know, Aoyama and I were thinking. You know, we're still trying to figure out, excuse me, how to get the staff ready for the tool project. You know, we are going to need at some point early next year. We're going to need a staff member to work on the assembly of the knives and tools. We've got all the parts being organized. We've got custom handles being made. We've got sleeves being made. We've got blades being made, 2 or 3 different types. But we have to do the assembly here. We're outsourcing all the components. We don't do blade making here. We've got no forge. It's not our skill. You know, so we're buying all the blades from a couple of different blade makers. We're buying handles from a place that specializes in handle making. And we have to do the assembly here and put them in the boxes, which we're buying from another place. So we're trying to sort that out, and we haven't yet identified staff members for doing that. And whether we need to hire a fresh new person for this or outsource that part of it, which I don't want to do. Outsource the assembly. I want to keep that part of it here. So one idea was, I mentioned Ayumi-san, ask Ayumi-san to do this. But we decided not to do that because we want to train somebody to do this and to do it on a long term. And if we'd asked Ayumi-san to do it now, I'm sure she could do it. She's really handy with her hands. But then we wanted her to come back as a printer, and we'd then be training somebody else to do the tool making. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Yeah, I don't know. My second daughter, Fumi, she said the morning sickness was way worse on her second baby, and Ayumi-san said the same thing. She said it's way worse on the second baby. No idea. Delivering stuff, no idea. But speaking of blades, have I got a chance to try the spit and candle trick yet? No, because you need to start a new blade. The blades I'm using right now, we're past the tip. We're past the beginning part. So what we need to do is next time we have a blade, next time I change out, and it's going to be many, many, many months from now at the rate I'm going here. Next time we change out for a new blade, and I'm finding that the first centimeter or so is not tempered properly, we will try it at that point, if I remember. I'll probably have forgotten all about it by then. Trimming nails, I know. I should have done this morning. I got out of the shower and I'm thinking, do my nails, but I was late. So, yes, apologies. Haircut, trim my nails. No, they are too long. It's no way. They're too long. They're too long. They're clean, but they're too long. And if I don't do it right there coming out of the shower, then it sort of can't get done. Because maybe everybody's saying, I don't know, they're really hard. And I find if I cut the clipper now and tried to trim it, it would go, boom, and then it sort of splits off in different places. They've got to be softened up. So just straight out of the shower is the time to do it. And if I don't get it done right at that moment, then it just doesn't get done. You think my fingers are bad? You should see my feet. No, you shouldn't. But yes, I'm sorry for that. Whatever. I'll try and get to it before the next stream. Was that my mother who said that? I don't think so. Just get another high school girl telling this stuff. Oh, that reminds me, we're talking about high school. I know the other day, high school or something was coming up in the stream. I don't even remember why now. And so John Becker, John linked to a high school yearbook. John, that wasn't me. That was a totally different part of Canada. So, but after I saw that link, I followed it through and found out that it wasn't my yearbook. And they wanted $70 for it anyway. But no, it wasn't my school. But I don't have a high school yearbook. We didn't, our family didn't go in for that sort of stuff. So I have no yearbooks at all from school days. But I don't think so. I mean, I wouldn't even be in there. I suppose they do a mugshot of the graduating class. I would be in there, I suppose. I don't even remember getting a picture taken. And if there's shots of the school band, I would be, you know, one member buried in the school band. But other than that, I don't think I'd even be mentioned in the high school yearbook. You know, I wasn't a thing. I wasn't a person. I was a very shy guy. And as I mentioned then, if you spoke to somebody from my high school now, 51 years later, and they said, "Did you remember Dave Bull?" And they'll say, "Who?" So for me, going out and buying a yearbook now really wouldn't, whatever. Would I remember those people? I don't know. I don't even remember the teachers. You know, after this topic came up the other day, that high school yearbook, I sat there for a minute. You know, what would be in my high school yearbook? Okay, Dave, do you remember the teachers? I remember my band teacher, because that's where I spent all my time every day, in the band room. And honestly speaking, that's the only teacher, the only person I can remember. I can't remember any of the other teachers at all. Physics, English, chemistry. I can't remember any of them. Male, female, names, appearance. Tells you how much I paid attention, eh? And we're only talking about 51 years ago. So in that sense, I guess maybe if I saw my yearbook, it might be a good laugh. Oh, I remember that guy. Stuff like that, I suppose. But anyway, the one that John linked to was not my school, and I poked around and couldn't see one from my school, so whatever. And as I said, the physical building burned down a year or so after I left, so, you know. I think it's time. It's time. It's time. It's time. You're reminding me. It's okay. I'm on it. S&T. The package. The package. Now, this is going to be different today. This is going to be different. I can't do this at this desk. So, a couple of warnings. I'm going to get up from here. I'm going to have to move my microphone to a different place. I'm going to move the lights. I'm going to move the camera. I don't think we have to shut the stream down. I'm going to move stuff around. But it's possible that while I'm moving things, maybe I'll jiggle the camera cord and the camera will go off for a second or something. Don't panic. Don't panic. Okay, just give me a minute here to sort this out and to move around. Testing, testing. We still have a microphone, but let's see this. We have to. I don't think I can wear the mic. I'm still moving. Let me clip the mic up here. Testing, testing. You can still hear, right? Okay. Now, lights, camera, computer. Here's the big part. Let's try and move the computer here. Hang on a sec. I'll make the outside camera smaller. Hang on a sec. One thing at a time. One thing at a time. I swirled it right across the light, did I? Okay. That's funny. One camera will keep the ratio, this one won't. Okay, here we go. It says glass on top. Hey, somebody can read Japanese. Nice, somebody can read Japanese. I know the umbrella, it's not normally here for the streams. It's here for the YouTube video. So, okay, we're here, right? I'm here. We can see this thing. We need to swivel a little bit more, I think. Seems okay. Okay, let's do this. Let's do this. Garasu. It says no cutters. Welcome to the wonderful world of Japanese packaging. Auctions, they're really, they're really gun shy. If something gets broken, people will complain and complain and complain. So most of the stuff is overpacked. Okay, what we have here today, there are 4 prints in the package here. It was 4 separate auctions. And these are prints that I knew they existed. I had heard of these, but I had never actually been able to see one myself. These are prints that were made in, and my guess is the 1950s or 1960s. For the first round of the tourist business back in when the Olympics were on, the 1960s. And they must have been sold in a set. But there were 3 in this set, and this customer must have bought the 3 of them and a frame to put them in. So the guy at this time's auction, he has sold the framed print, which is in the frame, and there are 1, 2, 3. Now there were actually only 3 in the original set, but we have, it seems, 4 prints here. I want to try and keep the plastic without tearing because I want to use it again, of course. Okay, what we have here, are we on? Okay, it lights. It's the famous Hiroshige triptych. In Hiroshige's time, it was done as 3, 1, 2, 3 separate Oban prints. This publisher in the 1960s or so put them all together and carved one huge, humongous woodblock print. It's the whirlpools at Naruto. And we are going to get it out of here because the last thing I want is to keep this thing in this frame. And they're done as easy open frames so that you can change in and change out. Take one print out and put another print in. But it's all plywood. Terrible, terrible. All right, you have been released. After 50 years, you are free from your prison. Here we go. This is a woodblock print. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. We have carver and printer's names. Almost readable, not quite readable. Bugger. It's too... Whatever, I'll try and get to it later. It's blurred. It's number 97 of a limited edition. Endo is the carver, and the printer is Ito, not the Ito Susumu that we know. Carver is Endo, printer is, and they've been carved and printed into a one-piece setup. The frame is going to go out front in the shop with a sign that says, "Help yourself." And somebody will take it away. Comments? I don't know what's going on. Do I think one person printed that? Yeah, of course. It's tough work, but it's doable. Now, if you know anything about those Hiroshige triptychs, you'll know what's in this next part of the package. He did 3 of them. Back in the original day. One was the Naruto that you've just seen. let's hold this one for a minute. There's 3 and then one more. So let's put that one aside just for a second. These are the 3 we want to look at. Here's the second of the famous triptychs. It's the scene at Kanazawa. We've got some foxing here. These are not perfect. We've got some foxing spots. I saw these in the auction pictures. The guy was honest. He showed the spots. But whatever, these were cheap enough anyway. These are for fun. Can you imagine printing this? The gradation at the top? Can you imagine? When our printers upstairs see this, they are just going to... And this one is the most fun. This one is the most fun by far. The famous cats. Not cats, but cats. And again, as you can see, this one also is foxed, and I really would not have wanted this in a foxed, but I can't help it. These are so rare. I have no idea how many they make, but they are so rare that even though it's foxed, it can't be helped. There's nothing we can do about that. But we'll get it out of this by bad packaging. And this was so cool, just so cool. I'm so happy to be able to get these. As I said, I had known they existed. I'd known they existed, but I wasn't ever able to find one. So, can I stand it up here? Okay, sorry to miss the whole conversation. It's the snow printed. The white you see is white paper. And the foxing, there's really not so good foxing on there. Not so pleasant, but can't be helped, whatever. And everything, all the rest you see, every gradient is a separate wood block. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. It's a ton of work. A ton of work. An absolute ton of work. What a publishing project to make these gradations, to make these prints as a 3. Now, how much were these? Ah, the microphone is behind me again to show. Okay, hi. Bring the microphone back. Sorry. Hi. Yeah, the folder got awful. There was water damage on the folder, but nothing on the print, it seems. These prints are now safe. They've come to a place where it's safe. How much were they? I don't remember, but hang on a sec. I put the auction up here. This is one. They were on 4 separate auctions, and this is one of them. If I had more people working for us, could we consider making a large print like this? There's a lot of factors. The thing about it is what the price it would have to be in the market at the end of the day. It's technically possible. We get a piece of wood. Each piece of wood would be many hundreds of dollars. The time and time and time, it would have to sell for, honestly speaking, it would be some thousands of dollars. Certainly $1,000 or so. And would it fly in the marketplace? I don't know. I don't know. Karen's asking, do I think one person printed these? I'm seeing this in person for the first time. I'm going to study it today, look at the back, look at the barren strokes on the back and try and figure out. I think a super competent, good power printer could do this. I think so. I myself printed my scroll on the shelf. It's, down there. It's, the scroll I made is about that big. And I did it myself, so it's doable, It's doable. And I'm no massive Hercules here, This is doable. You would probably do it at a stand-up bench instead of your normal sit-down bench, so you could move your body around back and forth and back and forth. Where would I find blocks this size? That's the question. Good question. This sort of stuff is just unobtainable. So the idea of doing a project like this now is just, I'm sorry, it's just not, it's not impossible, but it's just not practical. It's just not practical. Will this be in the online collection? Yes, at some point, but getting photography with all these lights, well, actually you can see in the background here on the right-hand side, just behind me, that's the workstation where we do the photography for our collection, and we're using a rack of lights above it. But to try and get the light even across a print is very, 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 very difficult. Someone's asking, this is smaller than the Ninomiya giant block, right? Ninomiya. Yeah, it's a little bit smaller than that. Yes, it's a bit smaller. Ballpark price. I can't tell you a ballpark price. I have no idea. No idea. No idea. It's not a question of Kickstarter. It's a question of the resources. To make this, we would have to pull in carvers and printers, and we wouldn't be able to make anything else while we're doing it. It's more important to us to keep our normal, steady workflow. We publish prints every month. That's more important to us than making a special project. We don't have the resources. We're too young. We're just too young. Ask me again in 10 years. Is this Oban size? This is 3 Obans. The original print, that's an Oban 1, 2, 3. This looks to be the same as the original print, but just made on one single sheet of paper instead of 3 sheets of paper. So we could, the problem with wood is not the length, because trees grow tall. The problem is the width. And you can't laminate your blocks, because any joint in a seam on a piece of wood would show where it's going to print. So, is there a name for this size? No, I have no idea. There's no name for this. I have no idea what it is. The paper, the washi would have been a special custom order for the paper. The blocks, this is not a normal print in any sense. It's not a normal size. Can we see the whirlpools again? I've got them, where have I got them? The whirlpools are here. There's a 4th print that I just didn't open properly. It's something else by Hiroshige. The same publisher seems to have taken a Hiroshige painting or something and turned it into a print. So I'm going to investigate that a bit later. But that one's super heavily foxed. It's just covered in foxing. And the auction went for like 2,000 yen. Nobody wanted it. So because I was getting these 3, I also grabbed that one. But it is just a mass of foxing and not attractive or interesting at all. So you too. So it's somebody's talking about because of the Neko Hake project, you can't unsee that anymore. When you see those mountains you see cats, and I'm the same now. In fact, I almost said, here's Hiroshige's cat print when I first saw it. I can't unsee it. I can't unsee it. So, what are the hanko at the top? Do you mean this? This is the kiwame. That's the censor's seal. In the era when these were made, it was one of those times where the government was heavily interested in controlling what was going on in the media. And all ukiyo-e prints done in a certain era, after the sketching was done, the sketches had to go to the government censor's office. They hankoed it, and that hanko had to be carved into the block so that it appeared on every print. So next to the red cartouche you see over there, these are censor's seals. If you look it up in Wikipedia, I think kiwame is the term for those. Were there any Edo era artists that did like Sosa carving? No, of course not. Back in the Edo era, people drew, carvers carved, printers printed. There was no culture of do-it-yourself. Nobody would have ever dreamed of such a thing. Never. And this one too is foxed, and there's nothing we can do about that. You could bleach it out, but that bleaches out the color. There's nothing you can do. You just destroy the print. There's no way to get just the foxing off and not spoil anything else. And normally I wouldn't buy foxed prints for our collection, but as I said, these are rare items. I had known they existed, and this is the first time I've ever actually had a chance to hold one and inspect it. And they were cheap, $50 each, so whatever. I just grabbed them for the collection. So maybe one day we'll get a chance, nicer copies will come up, and in that case we'll sell these off. We'll sell these down. Okay, I think there we are. It's been a bit of a mixed stream again. I don't know if I got very much work done, you know. The amount of work I did today, if I'd just been by myself, it's like 10 minutes work. So I don't know. But anyway, we have fun with this, I guess. It's good for the community. It's good to have this. So, okay, it's now Monday. I am now going to be out of here. I'm not out of here. I mean, I'm off stream now, 3 days from now. We'll be back on Thursday morning, my time. Wednesday morning, perhaps for most of you guys. No idea. I'll be carving. I have no idea what we'll have on show and tell. Nothing this spectacular, I'm sure. Okay. Thanks very much, guys. See you, guys. People, thanks very much. See you next time. Bye for now. Well, actually, too, there will probably be the next video about the same time as the next stream. Which will come first, I don't know. We'll see. Thank you.